Welcome back to the Clydesdale Media Weight Loss Journey. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I am the Clydesdale. That is Cheryl Nasso. She is my nutrition coach. And this is our story, our journey to get me to lose 100 pounds by the 2023 CrossFit Games. And with that, I turn over all power to my nutrition coach who runs these weekly check-ins. And it's good to be back, Cheryl, but I'm turning it over to you.
Well, I missed you last week. I'm going to be honest. I do solo podcasts myself, and I'm getting used to this YouTube live. Scott's making me uncomfortable, but I'm getting better at it. And I was recording some episodes this morning. I'm like, I love doing this so much better with you. Like, it's so much more fun when I have somebody else to talk to. Because sometimes when I'm doing it on my own, I'm like, I can start to think about things. Anyways, I just have I feel like we have a lot to talk about today. So last weekend you were at the Masters Fitness Collective. And I didn't get to fully listen to your roundtable, but it sounds like you were definitely put through the ringer in terms of work, right? So it was like a lot of physical labor last week, essentially.
So, for those who don't know, I volunteered as a judge at Masters Fitness Collective. We had a judge shortage, and that meant that basically one heat would leave the floor as another heat would come on, and we were right back at it. We put in 14 hours on Saturday of straight judging. So I walked a lot in 25-foot increments because that was the length of the floor on Saturday with the apparatus laid down the floor, sometimes handstand walks, things like that. And man, these people can handstand walk fast. So I had to get into my back pedal pretty good.
Yeah.
To get out ahead and stay ahead.
It's insane. And I really do think that, just to go off on a tangent with this, is that I really think that competition organizers need to be more thoughtful of this when they plan events, that the staffing should almost be the staffing should dictate how many people they take on as athletes. It's really hard I've done judging as a head judge before, and I remember being like, I just want to get off and pee, and like couldn't leave. And so it's definitely, but you guys make that happen. So and the first thing that I want to touch on is how much.
Well, the last thing I want to say about that, because I did a solo podcast, which I'm not comfortable doing solo either.
Yeah.
But it was about the needs of staffing at events. Just to give you an indication, there were 500 Masters athletes at this event. That is more than went to the games this year.
It's crazy.
In all divisions.
Yeah.
And we had probably a fifth of the judges.
Well, and you know what would be great, because I know this is your journey, but why don't they have, like, on the CrossFit.com, now that we have CrossFit sanctioned, events and stuff, they need to have a CrossFit judges board of an area on the CrossFit.com Games website, where this is like an area for judges that, or even you guys can do it. Just creating somewhere, there needs to be a place for to pull judges from, for all competitions. Think about how many people you could find if they knew that there was a need, right? Just because some people don't even know, there should be a place. And I think sometimes judges should get paid. They really should.
Here's the deal. There's tons of judges out there. Rogue is this weekend. Masters Fitness Collective was last weekend. Rogue, there's a long wait list of people trying to get in to judge because they treat their judges so well.
Yeah.
You get so much swag, so much stuff. You get tons of breaks. You get really good food. So people are going to sign up for Rogue.
Well, and that's where, I'm saying, is if you give the judges more, that's payment. Give them a reason to bust their ass, but anyways, not to get off of it. So last weekend you were on your feet all weekend. Now, I also know that one of your feedbacks that you put in your questionnaire, your check-in form, was your back was pretty lit up towards the end of the weekend, correct?
Yeah.
How's that been feeling since then?
So I will say I kept intensity low all week in workouts.
Good.
And because I actually got a new roof put on my house this week as well, because nothing's going on in my life. I worked out in the garage more than at the gym.
Okay.
But that automatically lowers my intensity, which is probably a good thing.
Mhm. Yeah. I just wanted to check in on that because that is something that I know that, you are somewhat conscious of. How has your, because this is part of our check-in, is how has your mobility work been going?
So I have been leaning into it a lot lately because I had the little back tweak a couple weeks ago. After last weekend, during the weekend, I mean, every opportunity I had, I was in a figure four. I was doing any kind of stretching I could, um, especially like lumbar twists, things to get my back to stay loose. Because standing on cement is awful. I told everybody that I would rather do 4 WODs in that day than to stand on cement that long again.
I love that. And it's funny because I was just listening to a podcast yesterday about someone that was talking about the importance of like, that stretching, people that, oh, it's my rest day and they don't want to do anything. Like daily movement is so important for everybody. So the fact that you're getting it in like that is, I actually like that more than, oh, I'm going to hit my 20-minute, well, now it's called pliable ROM WOD or my mobility movement or my go WOD. It's like I'm just making sure that I'm being mindful of those spots and prioritizing those things. Yeah, having some structure to your mobility is good, but I wanted to check in on that because I don't want you slacking on that. Um, Kind of just checking in on a couple of those other things. Are you still doing any zone 2 work? Just as I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I do. Um, I don't the checklist has kinda gone out the window for me. I'm
Yeah,
just doing it, like, it's just becoming a habit. Um, and so I go out to the garage when I need, like, some me time, and I hop on the bike, and I go for 30 to 40 minutes usually now,
so
and
the cool
that's
thing is
more
like,
than just once a week.
yeah. So the cool thing is like the checklist is developing the need for some things to happen in your life that you feel like are better for you. And it's no longer a need to prioritize it anymore. The movement in the mobility, the zone 2 is becoming a natural part of your week. It's not becoming something that you have to think about checking off. And that's awesome because those were the two main things. The other stuff I was not really that worried about. Your all of your fitness is going to start to come back as you can see. You're getting stronger, you're getting fit, you're getting faster. You're finding your, I mean, I think it was last week's check-in that you weren't here for, but like, man, walking into the room and being confident to be like, I'm no longer in the back anymore. Like I belong in the middle. And feeling that confidence in yourself is awesome. And I love that.
Can
So
I say one thing to that as well?
absolutely, yeah.
So, when I was at Masters Fitness Collective, people were taking pictures of me, at different moments, which was a whole 'nother bizarre experience at the event. But for the first time in a very long time, I wasn't like, "Ooh, I don't like that picture." I was like, "Hey, wow, I have come a long way."
I love that. That's awesome. It's funny. I had actually been, I might have been one of my podcasts I was recording this week. I was talking about photos. Like, obviously, you're 52, I'm 37. But remember when, like, you couldn't see the photos, right? Like, when we had
Yeah,
disposable cameras and, like, you would get developed and you're like, oh, none of those pictures came out good. We didn't have the opportunity to retake a photo. We just were stuck with it. And sometimes,
yeah.
like, oh, let's just rip that one up, right? So, and then somebody else probably be like, oh, no, I love this photo. Like, no, I hate that photo of me. So it's just cool to be able to do that. But I'm really happy for you on that aspect of things.
And this is a good time to say one thing. I was approached by, an athlete named Dan Church at Masters Fitness Collective. He follows this show. He had a weight loss journey of his own to get him, to where he is today, and now he's competing at the Masters Fitness Collective.
Well, that's gonna be you, dude.
And he was so kind to me and, shared his story and, was really rooting for me, and that was really awesome, and I just wanted to point that out.
I love that. And you have so much, you are an athlete, dude. I mean, you were a swimmer growing up. Like you got athletic background. You got potential. I'm not gonna put you out of that. And you're like, Cheryl, don't even go there. But yeah, so going into this past weekend, my main focus when you were not here was just I believe I kind of talked to the audience a little bit about last year the season of competitions is kind of what started the breaking point for you, that it became very hard for you to prioritize yourself with the travel, with the stress. How do you feel like you did with this trip versus last year's competition season with the semifinals and all that?
I think it only took me like a day to get back into the groove. Um, I got home Sunday. I said in my check-in that I did not eat well on Sunday. But I still tried to keep it as close to calories, macros, everything I could, even though the food wasn't the best quality.
Yeah.
And then, um, and then Monday, didn't have a ton of groceries. Got that kind of all sorted out Monday, and then Tuesday we were just back into the groove again.
Well, can I just give you my own feedback is that you crushed this past weekend. Because if I pull up your data from, this earlier year, you didn't track a thing.
I know. That's
And
the big difference.
and you, like you said, you like it's and I keep going back. I'm just recording. I was talking about paleo zone, right? Yeah, like so quality matters, quantity matters, but when you can't do it all, it doesn't mean you can't do anything. You troubleshot the most important things. All right, right now, maybe I just want a burger and fries, but I'm gonna make that work for the day. And that's totally fine. It's like
And I'll
that.
tell you, what sucked about it is that's not what I wanted.
It was what was available.
That's not what I wanted. It's all I could do. I was so exhausted
Mhm.
and so tired and driving home, and I just wanted to get home, and it
Yep,
was what I could do at the time.
exactly. And so it's like, but it fit the plan. It was your numbers were not that bad. Your numbers were actually pretty good that day. And the cool thing is, what are we seeing this week in terms of weight loss? So, looks like you are 323.8 as of yesterday, with a whole whopping 0.324 today. So 0.2 up from yesterday. That is a significant drop in weight this week. Fair statement?
It is.
Yeah.
Fair statement.
I'm happy. And I think that it comes from two main things. People tend to underestimate how much non-exercise related activity is, meaning the way we live our day-to-day life, how much we sit versus how much we move, how much those things matter more, along with your body just being flat out exhausted this week. And you probably were getting workouts in, but less intensity. Your body was healing and it was giving your body an opportunity to, and you just jump right back on your macros. You didn't like fuck around, man. You just got right back into it. Were you stoked did you have to like step on the scale like 3 times? Because I would have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I got the first drop was to 324 something on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I was yeah, I couldn't believe it. I stepped on it 3 times. And then yesterday, I was excited to come down and see, was it real or was it fake? And then it was down even more.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome."
How
'Cause
tall?
we've been kind of at a little plateau.
Yeah. Well, how tall are you right now? 5'10", 5'11"?
Yeah, right around there.
Okay.
I was 5'11", I probably shrunk a little bit.
So just to give people some context into your life and your caloric intake, because I think that a lot of people are also very afraid of food. You're eating somewhere between 22 and 2,400 calories a day, and you have a desk job. You do make it a point to take your dog for a walk. On average, though, your step count is what? Call it 5 to 10K. You work out 6 days a week, mostly,
Yeah.
about an hour.
5 workouts, 1 zone 2,
Yeah.
2 zone 2 sometime.
Yeah, so you're getting 5 to 6 good workouts a week, but no more than an hour. Sometimes they're probably short with some strength. Sometimes they're a little bit longer. You're doing a CrossFit class. You're not killing yourself doing extra cardio. You're being mindful of your movement, but you're not killing yourself in any area of things.
CrossFit Polaris is a straight hour of working out.
Yeah, you're like Cheryl.
They turn strength into cardio.
Yeah, you're getting a good hour workout, which is great. But then what I'm trying to get across to people is that, it's not so much about how much you do in life. It's really about consistency. And that's been my theme today is that you've been very consistent and that you are mindful of your goals, right? So now because you've been conditioned to do an hour of workout, if one day Christy says, "We're only going to do Fran today," you're going to be like, "Well, I guess I'll just do some zone 2 afterwards." That's probably what you're going to do. Like you're going to be that kind of a person. So you've been consistently making progress while not continuously like under feeding yourself, which is awesome. And it's where most people go wrong. They think they have to starve themselves and kill themselves with things, and they're not consistent with that. You also don't really have a whole bunch of cravings. Also a fair statement.
Very fair.
Yeah. Do you get cravings for anything? I don't even think you do. I think it's more so like if you're watching a ball game, you want to be able to, have a few chicken wings and all that stuff. That's really it.
But you've given me alternatives that I
Yeah.
get the flavors I'm craving without the
Yeah.
calories, right? Like
Yeah.
flatbread pizzas
Yep.
are fine
Yep. I love it.
and they're guilt-free. But I got to say this, I think the biggest change for me is the logging.
Yeah.
As much as you think you can wing it and that you can eyeball everything, um, I love now that I can check my numbers partway through the day and have a plan for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. That's food freedom. People think that that is restriction. Structure equals freedom. When you take the time to plan, now you can pick whatever you want. Sometimes it doesn't always work. And then you're like, oh, when I want to have that, I need to make sure I have a lower fat lunch. Now you have structure that creates freedom. Freedom not only for the foods you want, but for the goals you want to achieve for yourself. It's now
Well,
giving.
and just to let you know, the big difference, you hit the nail on the head. Last year at competition season, I did not log anything.
Yeah.
And when you're coming off the floor for 10 minutes and you're grabbing a protein bar and you're grabbing this and you're grabbing that, there's no way you can track that in your head with macros. So when I had a free moment, I logged it all in. Okay, now what do I have for the rest of the day and what can I do? And that made all the difference in the world.
100%. I made this post in the Facebook group yesterday, Fit Body Secrets, guys, because, people will be like, I'll see their journal on the weekend and they're logging 800 calories and their weight's up 3 pounds on Monday. I'm like, there is no way all you had was one slice of cheese pizza and a protein shake all day. They're not logging the few blueberry muffins that they finished in their kids' pack, the few cheeses that they grab while they were plating their kids' food, the bite of macaroni and cheese, the tortilla chips, they're logging their eggs and not logging the butter. Like that stuff matters. I was a lazy logger at one point. I was, and I was the girl that was like, why am I not seeing any results? Because I'm logging half the bars that I'm having, not all of them. So I get it, So you're doing awesome. Anything going on this weekend?
Actually, everything that was happening was last night. If you see dark circles on my eyes, I had eyeliner on that I tried to get off this morning because we had a Halloween euchre party last night. Um, and those I don't even sweat those things anymore
Yeah.
because none of that bad food even looks good to me.
Yeah. That's how I feel. I mean, honestly, what I've learned is that, because there was a time in my life where I lived on convenience food and takeout, but I feel so much better when I eat my own food. I feel more satiated. I don't it's not even worrying about the food anymore. It's more so how I feel that the more I enjoy my food better. I do. I can't get what I like to eat at restaurants anymore. I mean, besides pizza and sushi. Like those are the only two things I'll probably always go out for and not make it home when I want the real thing. So just because it
I
doesn't.
still can't trust myself with sushi.
What is it about making raw fish at home? It's not like they probably get it the same place we do, right?
I
But
I
I'm the
just
same
think
way.
I cannot control myself with sushi.
Oh, you think you couldn't
So
eat it?
I
Yeah.
don't even put myself in that spot.
Well, that's an important thing for us to talk about. And then we don't have to talk about it right now, but my tip whenever you have a food like that is for sushi for me, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna get full on one roll. Like, come on, like that's just ridiculous. So whenever you're having sushi, I can show you how to track it, but I will always order like 2 rolls that I want to have. But I always order sashimi on the side. So I get the extra protein. So I'll get the 2 rolls that are going to have the rice and the fats from the avocados or whatever. But then I'll also get extra sashimi to cover my proteins. And I always order the soup and the salad and some kind of other thing with protein base or veggie base to fill me up a little bit more, because sushi is not filling. It's not, like, it's never. I could literally, we used to go out and we would have like just everybody pick sushi and we all just put it out like this big thing of sushi and we all just grab little bites of it, right? You can't, and that's going to be more of like, that's what I like to do. That's what I do honestly on Thanksgiving. That's my thing on Thanksgiving. I'm a weirdo, but I like sushi on Thanksgiving. So I'm not really a big turkey person. So
Me
that's
neither.
yeah. But yeah, this weekend then I think it's no football stuff going on tomorrow. No.
At noon today, Penn State, Ohio State. I live in the land of Ohio State, but I am a Penn State fan. So today is either I will be mocked for the next few days or I will get to celebrate.
Well,
And then
hopefully
football tomorrow, but
hopefully
football's nothing anymore.
yeah.
I know
Hopefully,
how to deal with that.
yeah. I think that this week we keep things in a good place. Numbers look good. Weight loss looks good. You could probably upload. You know what? I also, and I'm going to have you guys do this. I actually don't really force you guys to do measurements because I feel like they're a little bit time consuming. But I know for you, you were talking about bod pod and all that stuff. I actually think that you might want to just do some measurements. If you have a measuring tape, not that you have any starting measurements, but it would be good for us to see where you're at now and I can kind of help estimate your body fat with those if you want me to. I am actually putting that in the doc this week for all of you guys, that I think that we should start doing some measurements for people that want something besides just the scale. I'm fine with you not doing it, but then take some updated photos and plug them in for me, so I have those as well, and we'll go from there.
Can I give my one food find of the week?
Yeah.
Skinny Cow ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, those are good. Those are good. What are the macros on those?
It's 150 calories. I was just looking it up. 30 carbs, 2 fat, 4 protein.
That's not
But
too bad.
I have a lot of carbs right now.
Yeah.
And
That's not too bad.
so
I like that they're low fat, because that's usually the hard part with the sandwiches. Is some of my clients like those Yasso bars, but not the regular ones, the ones that have the coating on the outside. So I've just been doing my smoothie bowl. My food find of the week. Okay, you probably already do this. Why has this not been in my life? All right, freaking air fryer French fries. Where has that been? Like, why have I not done that? It's so easy.
It's a staple. It's a staple in my house.
And I probably do that the hard way, but the way I do it, they came out awesome. What I did was I sliced them and then I soaked them in a little bit of water to get all the residual stuff off, dried them off, and then I sprinkled them with garlic, herb seasoning, and sea salt, and I put them in the oven to roast them. And that's how I meal prepped them. But then when I went to eat them, I stuck them, they were already cooked kind of, and I put them in the air fryer to crisp them up. They were so delicious. So good.
Yeah, I air fry them from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then when I heat them up, I put them back in the air fryer.
Yeah, they're so good. So
But my oven is an air fryer. It can be an air fryer or an oven.
I'm so mad at myself. I made a mistake this morning when I did that though. I always remember to weigh my potatoes out raw. But today, because I was going to show people in the group how I did it, I was just in a rush and I forgot to weigh them. So I had already cooked them. So I'm like, oh man. So I got to just kind of estimate. It's going to be fine, Cheryl. One potato is not going to kill me. So, but I'm usually good about doing that. I'm like, oh, I forgot to weigh them raw. So I only got the cook weight today. But yeah, but good find for sure. So awesome. Well, keep up the good work, man. You're crushing it. Let's do it.
All right. Well, if you like what you heard, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifier so you're the first to know when new episodes come out. And we will see you next time on the Clydesdale Media Weight Loss Journey.